How are you?
Um, I think I'm rather caught up in the angst of the body. I was listening to a satsang you were doing the other day, where you were talking about how the body is only an idea.
Mm.
I kind of, except in the very most radical way of looking at the world, maybe it's an idea, but at any other level, it seems to be more than that.
Well, it seems to be solid, doesn't it?
Solid and shaking.
And solid. A solid shaking thing, right?
Yes.
What would a physicist say about that? That the body is solid?
Well, yeah, but you see, the physicists would say that about everything. I mean,
That's right. That's
ultimately,
right.
you can say there's nothing. But when your experience isn't that, the intellect doesn't help.
Okay, so all right, so just there, yeah. You believe you're experiencing the body, correct?
Yeah,
Okay. What does that feel like?
solid and shaking.
Okay. More information. What does it feel like?
Well, it has all different kinds of feelings in it,
All
depending
right.
on which part you put your attention on.
Okay. So could you feel anything without the sense of touch?
Yes,
You could.
I can feel sensation in my legs.
Could you feel that without the sense of touch?
I'm not touching them.
No, no, I'm not saying that, but this feeling is to do with touch, sensating something, feeling something. Could you feel the legs without the sensation of touch?
Yes, because I'm not touching them. I know
No.
what you just said, but I don't get it.
Okay. If I asked you to feel the bark of a tree, yeah, what are you feeling?
A rough exterior
Really?
of the tree, yes.
What you're experiencing, what you're feeling is the feeling. And then this says, I'm feeling a tree. You're sensating the sensating, not the tree. This fills in the rest and says, oh, I'm feeling a tree. What you're feeling is the feeling. It happens here, doesn't it? If we're using your hand to touch the tree, what you're feeling is this. Then this.
I'm feeling some sensation upon the hand.
What's experiencing the sensation?
So I'm not quite sure about that.
You
I
could
mean,
keep it simple and just say the hand.
well, is it the hand or is it consciousness that's experiencing it?
Well, that depends where we want to
Yeah, I know.
launch. That depends where we want to launch into this discussion. What I'm trying to get you to see is what this is saying is happening isn't happening.
Well, it's saying that I'm feeling that my hand is feeling the tree.
That's right.
I could say my hand is feeling something.
It's feeling itself.
Yeah, I just can't get that one. I don't get that.
Okay. Because it's akin with what you were talking about in relation to the body. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm asking you, what does it feel like to feel the body? What is it that's sensating the body?
Well, that's where I jump to Awareness is feeling the body. My awareness is feeling the body.
Could there be awareness in the absence of feeling?
Yes. I know
Good.
you agree?
Yes,
Oh,
100%.
okay. All right.
100%, I agree. Now,
Well, that sounds really radical. I mean, I had to draw upon the
of course it
experience
is.
of a quadriplegic or
It is
something.
radical. It is, you know that this is the most radical thing we could ever embark on. Even
Yeah,
this the conversation is radical. What we're talking about is radical. What I'm saying is fucking radical. We know that.
well, even with the quadriplegic, the chances are, they could feel their face. So, but most of it, they have no awareness of feeling it. I'm not sure that's the right track, but that's what my example.
Yeah. See,
so there's awareness, but not necessarily of the body in that case, because the body is completely dead.
Correct.
So there's only awareness of the room, or
you could say that if you like, but what good. You could say that if you like. Now, what about the body now, if that's the case? You could only say, what body? Couldn't you?
Yes.
You could only say that, yeah? What body? I don't experience a body. That's all you could say.
That's right. In the same way you can say, I don't experience a heart.
Correct.
Or lungs, or
yeah. So who's experiencing the decline of the body? And look, even if we
even if you unpack that sentence, it doesn't mean a whole lot. It means fuck all, actually, really.
Well,
what a lot of construction you have to put onto it to get that sentence out.
Yeah, mind. All thoughts, all dualistic thoughts, all dualistic thoughts, all. Yeah. And as far as mind is concerned, as far as thoughts are concerned, yeah, this isn't exactly it, but just try and track with me, yeah. As far as thoughts are concerned, the person, the seeming person, is a dualistic person. Tell me that's not true.
It is true. The seeming person. Well, there is no person, but if you're going to put that construct on, a person has to be dualistic.
Right. Which means what?
Which means that.
What the hell does that mean?
You're gonna put a heap of shit out there.
The person is dualistic.
Well, there is no such thing as a person.
But if we was to speak, let's just say we're speaking to average Joe in the street. There's no clue of non-duality. Yeah.
Okay.
If you said to them, in your experience, do you believe you're a dualistic person? For a start, they wouldn't know what the fuck you were talking about. Yeah. Making that statement, they wouldn't know, right? But you could inquire. You could say, do you believe once you were born and one day you will die? And they'll go, yes. Yeah. Do you have happy days and sad days? And they'll go, yes. Yeah. Have you experienced having a lot of money and no money? They'll go, yes. Have you experienced love and hate? And they'll say, yes. That's all dualistic.
Yes.
All of that is dualistic here. But the primary thing there is that human beings, not that there's any, but human beings believe they were born. They had a beginning. They started somewhere.
Yeah.
And from all evidence around them, they know they're not going to live forever. No one has yet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get to 100, 110, whatever it is, and people die. Yeah, that's your duality. I was born, and one day I will die. Yeah. So the seeming person. Now let's you and I just sit here for a moment, and we're looking at each other. Does it make sense that this is dualistic? Is it one or is it two? We're right here, Lizzie.
Well, that's the thing. Moment by moment can only be one. There's only the experience of the one thing.
Right. Yeah, this says, no, there's two.
There's
duality. There's this and that. And
when
this
I think
happen.
about it afterwards, that will be two.
Correct. So right here, is there two or one?
No, there's only one.
One. So what this says, Lizzie, is not true.
Yeah, but God, Terry, I mean, when I say there's one, I mean there's one in such a short period of time. There's one in such a short period of time that it doesn't even count. Most of it, most of it is true in memory.
Here's why it counts. Because this now that you're describing as a short period of time does not have a beginning or an end. That would be a dualistic statement, this short period of time. That's, again, duality.
Yeah.
Yeah. This now doesn't have a beginning or an end. But this will say it does, a short period of time. This short period of time, everything seems to be okay. And there'll be another short period of time in, 10 seconds where I don't feel okay. What the fuck? Yeah. It doesn't have a start or an end.
No.
But this will say it does. And you just demonstrated it. You just demonstrated what this does.
Mm-hmm.
It's a short period of time. No, there's no time in it. No. That's why this moment is considered eternal. There's no time. Eternity, eternal. Now, why? Because there's no time in it. As soon as you introduce time, which is just a concept of the mind, by the way, as soon as you introduce time, the eternal becomes finite. And what does it do? It creates a little old me in this big universe. And the only thing that's saying that is a thought. Like, there's got to come a time where we stop trusting what it's saying.
No, that is something else, because if you don't trust that, there is an absence created, there is a blank created, and it's not immediately obvious what you can then trust. It doesn't spring to life or anything.
Okay, so let me say this, yeah? There's not one single solitary thought, not one, that's true.
Yeah.
Not one, Lizzie. Not one.
No, not even the one that argues.
Yeah. Yeah. So not one. And yet, what do? We believe it. We believe it. And yet, when we look at the evidence, when we actually look at the evidence, there's not one single solitary thought that's true. Not one. Even time, Lizzie, Albert Einstein, renowned Albert Einstein, made the statement, we as human beings invented time. There's no such thing. Now, the human being, the seeming personal person, is 100% for its seeming existence dependent upon time. Because without the concept of time, you wouldn't be able to recall when you were born, what school you went to, your first boyfriend, girlfriend, all time dependent.
Yeah.
We even call it recalling memory. And we even make this recalling something that happened in the past. Recalling something that happened in the past. It's not possible to do that. It's literally not possible to do that.
Yeah, I totally agree. You have to go to the present to recall it.
Correct. Correct. And what is it that's being recalled anyway?
Fancy.
A thought. Just a thought. We don't recall the actual event, do we?
No.
It's a thought. It's a story about an event. Mm. And even the event is a story.
Yeah.
So
I have recent evidence about how weird that is, because I went to watch the Matildas play their game of soccer, and Sam Kerr did this great goal. And I was thinking about it afterwards, and I thought, wow, it was wonderful. She went to the goalie who was over here and she shot the goal. Oh, was the goalie over here? And did she shoot the goal over that way? I can't remember. I'm going to say it was this way, and I'm going to remember it like that. It's like, wow, really?
Yeah, I know. Like, if we analyze it, like, because as a person, we believe a thought. So let's see if we can find just one thought that's true. Just one. See if we can find one between the two of us now. One thought that's true.
It depends what level you're coming in at.
Any level, I don't care. Any level.
I could say, if it was nighttime, I could say it is dark.
Good. What's dark?
That which I'm looking at.
Good. And what are you looking at?
Dark.
Good. What's dark?
Black.
Good. What's black? It's all words.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look.
It's all concept actually, yeah.
Good. So the idea that it's dark or it's black or it's whatever is a concept.
It is, however, something.
Is it black or dark?
No.
Good. So it's not true.
No.
It's just an idea, Lizzie. Yeah. And thank God we have that. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. We need the mind as a tool, just like we need to be able to see, because if we couldn't see, we'd be stumbling around in the dark.
There you go. It's dark.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. So we need it. We need the mind. Yeah. Like how this seeming show gets created, and the seeming person and the seeming other and the apparent dark sky and the sun and the moon and the stars and the laptop and the table that the laptop's sitting, all of that, yeah, how that all gets created is with two things. Firstly, consciousness. Secondly, mind. Duality. In the absence of mind, what is there?
Your consciousness.
Yeah, and you couldn't even say that, could we, in the absence of mind? But what we could say is not two in the absence of mind. But not duality in the absence of mind. So for this show to seemingly happen, there needs to be two things: consciousness and mind, thoughts.
But now when you talk like that, it's as if you're attributing mind to be an independent thing of as much authenticity as consciousness. And it's
no, that's right. So consciousness being one, single, yeah. For this to happen, yeah, there needs to be an idea of consciousness now splitting.
Yeah.
Splitting. It's got to go from one to two. Yeah. So we say, okay, there's consciousness and there's mind, because we can be aware of mind being that's saying there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Mind that says that. Yeah. Whereas in actuality, for the singularity, let's just call it consciousness for argument's sake, yeah, for it to know anything or be anything, be able to experience anything or whatever, it's got to split itself into two. It must. And what instrument does it use to do that? Thoughts. And that consciousness is the thinker.
Yeah, you talk about splitting itself, and yet it hasn't.
Correct. Correct. It hasn't. But what it does is it uses it uses mind, a dualistic thing, because it's the only, out of the six senses, it's the only one that's dualistic, the mind. Seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, and smelling are not dualistic. They're not a dualistic experience in and of themselves by themselves. Yeah. Then there's the mind. Well, there's your duality straight away. Yeah. So for that one, or that one consciousness, if you like, to seemingly then be able to have this experience of all, yeah. Number one, it's got to be conscious. Well, it always is. It's always there. Yeah. And number two, it's got to create something that makes things appear to be two. Yeah. Whereas in reality, that one, that singularity, yeah, is everything, everywhere, all knowing, all powerful, everything, it's one. It's not made of parts yet. Yeah. And even when we say, oh, now it's made of parts, it's still not.
No.
Yeah, it's just a thought that says, oh, yes, there's me and consciousness. Two. Two. Yeah. Or there's me and a tree. Two. Yeah. But it's only the dualistic instrument, being thoughts, that says that. Yeah. Then we have this seeming experience, because there's also seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, and smelling. Yeah. Then we have this seeming experience, yeah, where we believe we're separate from a tree. It's me here and a tree over there. Says what? This. The dualistic instrument. You know that dualistic instrument that you have no control of, it just does its own thing?
Yeah.
Like you're not the seer, right? Seeing is there's just seeing. Neither are you the thinker. There is just thinking. We know that, Lizzie. That's basic. Basic. I'm not the thinker. Basic. Because if you were, I'd say, well, stop it. And we discover we can't. We can't.
And yet we feel very responsible for what we think.
That's the story. But then when you analyze it, you realize you're not responsible for one single solitary thought. Zero. Now, how can you take responsibility for that? If you're not the thinker, it's absurd to take responsibility, because it would only be that would be seemingly taking responsibility for the thoughts would be the mind that's created a seeming person. There's not an entity there that can take responsibility for the thoughts. All that would happen is there would be thoughts, and then there'd be other thoughts saying, I need to take responsibility for that. Other thoughts.